Okay, Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. So you played a role, well, you were there the whole 2 weeks pretty much at the Warming Center. So we would love to just capture a little bit about how did being part of that impact you?
Well, yeah, it was an incredible experience. I mean, it's one of those. I've talked with a friend of mine who does a lot of work around immigration, and he's been doing a lot of research around raids and whatnot, and he's going to be doing a class soon. But I said, it's so amazing, but also, I was like, it's really cool, but that feels like the wrong word to use. And I feel the same way here in a sense, where like, in some ways, it was amazing, but also I'm sad that we need it, right? There's that component. But what was amazing for me and how it impacted me was just, for me in my ministry, one of the biggest pieces is belonging and finding and feeling belonging. And so for me, walking in, and I was being welcomed. Good morning, Pastor Mark. And what that does to me and what that does to build relationships with folks in the community is just really, I think, powerful. I think it's, the other piece I would say is that it just felt meaningful, this is, we have a building,
Right.
and there's so many scripture passages, stories, direct words from Jesus about welcoming others and creating space for others and inviting others in. And I think it was an incredible way to kind of experience that and what that looks like.
Tell us a little bit about your role with the Warming Center.
Sure. Most of my role was really just support for people who were helping with the Warming Center. And I did 2 shifts of volunteering in the Welcome Center, and then I also brought food for a couple of days as well.
Oh, wonderful. So did your participation in any way affect you?
Absolutely.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, it was a really wonderful experience that, I think that even as someone who would say that, I really care about this population of people and in general folks on the margins, living in Ann Arbor, it sort of closes us off to the people around us, and you sort of start to live in your little bubble of everyday life, and you do what you can to think about people and help support them, but it's really different than bumping shoulders with them and really interacting sort of over and over and hearing people's stories, and it was really special and really important, I don't know, for me to remember how close it is to the church when so much of the church's population is so different. And then also, it changed me to see how it changed others. And that was really the thing that I didn't expect the most. And that was really the best thing that could have happened, because it was a really big challenge to put everything together. From the start, there was a lot of bumps. It was a big push to sort of get everything organized and together, and, everyone was really excited for it, but it was difficult to figure out logistically.
Right.
And so it came with a lot of anticipation.
Right.
And, but it was so impressive to see the ways that our church sort of came around the community and jumped in head first and, had fun with it and had fun with people and really got to know people. It was really special.
Tell us about how it's impacted you, and then maybe you could share some stories.
Yeah. This feels like a weird way of starting to talk about how it impacted me, but I really loved it. I actually worked part-time at a homeless shelter for 3 years before my ordination serving at this church. And so I think in a way it felt a little bit like coming home.
Oh,
Like these are my people and this is my thing. Except it was sort of better than that because it was also in a church. And,
Right.
you know, I would go downstairs and I'm in a homeless shelter, and then I go upstairs and I'm with some of our volunteers, except it's not really that divided because people were up and down all the time. And just the melding and mixing of those spaces was really special, I think, vocationally to me, to be a part of that and to get to hear and talk to our volunteers and hear their experiences of volunteering and the people they met and the things that impacted them. And then also to talk to our guests and the things that stood out to them, the things that they liked or that they noticed. Something that I guess was especially impactful in terms of stories was just getting to be present with our guests, especially in moments of pastoral care. I got to have a number of conversations with guests, a lot of times because I was a pastor, and specifically a woman pastor, and some of the women in particular were like, I'd like to talk to you, and they wanted to tell me their story, and then we would pray and have these conversations, and that was just such a gift to get to be present with them, and sometimes it happened very organically. You know, Santa visited the Warming Center, as you may know.
I didn't know Santa visited.
Santa did visit, our Santa specifically, if you know who I mean. And that was lovely.